Good morning. Good morning, my beautiful friends. This is the Awesome Saturday service. Happy Awesome Saturday to everybody here. It is Awesome Saturday. This is the Sabbath. This is the day that we rest. This is the day that we relax and enjoy life, even more so than ordinarily. This is the time that we really stop we stop all of our striving to do things, and we simply relax into being. So happy Awesome Saturday. Saturday is awesome, and we are here today to talk about faith and also to talk about religion, and usually these things are juxtaposed, or should I say, oftentimes when we talk to religious or spiritual leaders about faith, it is typically in the context of the religion. And so, religion is the path. Faith is the way that, or is the, or should I say, faith is the path. Religion is the vehicle in which we get there. But anyway, Saturday is awesome. We're here to just have ourselves yet another Sabbatarian service. So let's have some fun. Let's recognize that we are awesome, and let's understand that we have inherent value and worth. So today we're talking about faith versus religion, and the title of this one is that God is the path. Now we have to ask ourselves, what does that mean, that God is the path? And I want to start off with some other questions that might make people feel uncomfortable, because that's what we do here. But we have to ask ourselves, like, well, are all religions wrong except yours? Because when I was a kid in Sunday school, I mean, they started to talk to me about the whole concept of heaven and hell, and how, if you don't accept Jesus into your heart, then you're going to go to hell, and hell is a bad, horrible place, and all the bad people who never did this thing, never said this particular prayer, they're all going to go to hell. They're all going to burn in hell. It's going to be a terrible, terrible thing for them. But I could escape this terrible fate simply by saying this little prayer. And as a kid, of course, you tend to just believe whatever it is that the adults around you have to say. And so I was very concerned. I was concerned, of course, about myself, and so I said the prayer so that I wouldn't go to hell. But also, I was very concerned about, like, my friends who did not share this same religion. And not just that, but I was also aware enough, even at like 6 or 7 years old, to realize that there were other people who had other religions, and that these other people with these other religions, perhaps who had never had the benefit of hearing my Sunday school teacher teach, that they would all go to hell. And so I asked my Sunday school teacher, I'm like, so are all the people that haven't ever heard of this going to hell? And she's like, yes, unfortunately, they're all going to go to hell, but you and you alone are going to, you got the right one. You got the right religion. Everybody else got the wrong religion, and bad things are going to happen to them, but good things are going to happen to you because you're right. And the only reason that you're right is because your parents and teachers and all the people around you all believe this thing, and so they taught you this thing. And so and so I said, well, what if there are, what if God expresses through other religions? What if God has other plans for other people who have other religions? And oh man, my Sunday school teacher shut me down fast, because she's like, oh no, that's called many paths to God, and there is only one path to God. And Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and therefore I am the only path to God. And therefore, any of these other paths to God that people will tell you that exist are actually just satanic lies. And you don't want to believe satanic lies, do you, little boy Paul? And so little boy Paul did not want to believe satanic lies. And so I just figured that I would just do whatever it was that my Sunday school teacher said, because she was like probably 22 at the time, and knew everything in the whole world. And so I just want to say that the whole many paths to God thing is not just preached by my Sunday school teacher, it's preached by every Sunday school teacher. It's also preached by every religious leader of every religion. So the people who are practicing all manner of different religions will all tell you that the other religions are wrong. So the question remains, are all religions wrong except your religion? And I just like here to reframe this and to say that it's not about, are there many paths to God? It can't be that there are many paths to God, because God's self is the path. God isn't just the destination. God is the path. God is the mountain. God is the one who climbs, and God is one who watches the climb as well. Now, I'm not trying to say that we are God, because in spiritual Eastern tradition, or Eastern spiritual traditions, oftentimes, like if a if a Christian kid wakes up one morning and goes and tells his mommy and daddy that he's discovered that he's God, his mommy and daddy are going to arrange an exorcism for him. However, if a Christian kid goes and says that, or if an Eastern spiritual kid goes to their parents and says, hey, I just realized that I'm God, their parents are going to say, well, about time you figured it out. But I don't believe that I am not God, and I don't believe that I am God as well. I believe that God is me, and that this important distinction is really that God expresses through God's creation in every manner of expression. And so God isn't the destination. God isn't on top of the mountain, and then we're climbing up the mountain to get to God. God is the path and the mountain, and God expresses through us, and God also expresses through the observer, and God expresses the one who tells the story and the one who listens to the story. And so religion itself becomes a map for us. A religion with all of its traditions and its languages and its culture and its ethics and its rituals and its liturgies and all of the things that make a religion, that is a that is a map for us to live our lives. Faith is the trust that leads us to step forward, even when we're not certain about it. And so, faith is what allows us to take the next step. And so, religion is the step that we take. Faith allows us to take the next step. Both of these things are very useful to us. But let's not confuse the map for the territory. Doing so would be a form of spiritual idolatry, to say that the religion itself is the thing that we worship instead of the one who empowers the religion to exist. Religion helps us to communicate the mystery of faith to other people, and faith helps us to commune with it. And so as we are practicing our religion is informing the way that we live. Our religion is informing the decisions that we make, the ethics or the morals, the guidance that we have. But faith is the thing that inspires us to have a religion in the first place. And at its best, religion is a practical guide for right living. I mean, it's a practical guide for getting us community. It's a practical guide for giving us meaning in an increasingly meaningless world, or perhaps even just a distracted world. And at its worst, religion is a fear-based control system. So, for example, I mean, even the what my Sunday school teacher said. Well, say this prayer or go to hell. Eternal damnation is a very, very scary thing. Karma as punishment is a very scary thing. Divine punishment for doubting that there is God is a very scary thing, and none of these things are really empirically provable. So therefore, we trust that religious leaders know what they're talking about. Just in the same way that I trusted my Sunday school teacher, and now every preacher that I listened to, after that. And so the fact is that people are afraid of what happens after we die, because nobody's come back to talk to us about it except Jesus, if you're in a particular religion. But the fact is that people don't, we don't really know what happens after we die for 100% certainty, and so therefore we're afraid of it. So therefore we have to have religious beliefs that we can have like an ironclad faith in. Religious authorities can exploit that fear by saying, well, if you don't do what I say, I'm a religious authority, if you don't do what I say, then what happens after you die is going to suck. And if you do what I say, then what happens after you die is going to be amazing. But the fact is that even the religious canon and the religious books and the preaching all has to come from a human being, and human beings all have ulterior motives. And so we have to ask ourselves, well, so for example, the Bible is a fundamental religious text for about 1/3 of the world, and it is something that is basically compatible with every Abrahamic religion. And so, but the Bible contains 66 books. The first set of them is called the Old Testament, and the Old Testament is something that every Jew would be familiar with, because the Old Testament is basically a whole bunch of Jewish history. Then they have the New Testament, which is what is basically a bunch of books that talk about Jesus, and then the words of Jesus, and then also the letters that various followers of Jesus have written to early churches. And there's some other stuff in there as well. Some various prophecies in there as well. However, Who created the Bible, and who decided that it was going to have 66 books in it? Who canonized it and said that this is actually religion? Who translated the scriptures? And what were their agendas when they translated the scriptures? The human fingerprints are all over holy texts. And because of that, every single holy text that we read has in some way been subject to somebody's unconscious bias. Uh, Divine breath is also over all holy texts as well. The word of God is like a double-edged sword, and it is alive. But the word of God being alive is more than just it's more than just holy texts being alive. It's about the world around us being alive. And so what we believe is that we shouldn't be rejecting religion. We redeem religion by recentering on its purpose. The purpose of religion is to awaken to the divine, and the practical ways that we awaken to the divine is actually by changing our behavior. Because those people who are awakened to the presence of the divine will, as a natural course of their human behavior, or as a natural course of that understanding, change human behavior. And so we recognize that God expresses through all religions because God is omnipotent. So is there a religion that was created without God's permission to create it? Is there a religion that was inspired without God's inspiration? Do the words that we use to communicate these religions, are these words not God's words? Are they not from languages that God has created and envisioned and effectuated and expresses through? And so since God expresses through all religions, it's not because they're correct in their doctrines. It's because all religions are doors, and doors don't have to agree to lead into the same house. So Sabbatarianism is interdenominational by design, compatible with any faith, and supportive of those who remain in their religion, and also compassionate toward those who don't have one. Uh, the the uncomfortable reality is that when people get a religion, oftentimes they instantly discount the other people who don't have that or don't share that religion. Faith communities tend to become very siloed in that way. And then people who do not have a religion, people who believe, or either that they're agnostic or they're atheistic, oftentimes are raised to be antagonistic toward people who have religions. And so so we get this, like, once again, this dichotomy, not just only our path to God is the correct path to God, but also people who believe in God versus people who don't believe in God tend to be at odds with each other, even though there's really no reason for it. People who believe in something divine don't necessarily have to be antagonistic toward those who don't believe in something divine. They can just accept the fact that the ones who don't believe in something divine are going to be dispensed with differently than they are. And in the same way, the folks who don't believe in something divine are oftentimes antagonistic to those who do, because those who do, they feel like they're foolish, and they have to tell them that all the time, which of course does not make it easy to have friends. So the fact is that we tend to reject caricatures of God. We believe that people reject those caricatures. We don't believe that people reject God. We believe that people reject those caricatures of God that we create in our own minds. And so we have to transition from a belief system to living faith. I mean, really, but belief is something that we say with our mouths. Whenever we open up our mouths, the contents of our heart come out. And faith is something that we say with our lives. However we live is however we live expresses our faith. Now, faith trusts that the universe is coherent even when our theology is not coherent. And let me tell you, dig deep enough into theology, and it doesn't take very long to find that all theology is fairly incoherent. Theologians have to argue about definitions before they even start arguing their points because of just how incoherent theology tends to be. And so, the fact is that as we practice our faith, we don't necessarily need certainty with it. we simply need sincerity with it. We need to believe that practicing our faith is something that's going to get us a better or get us into a better place in our own lives. So, religion is the scaffolding that helps build the building, and then faith is the building. And so, as we practice our faith, our religion is something that is going to form around it. And no two people have the same religion. I've found even people who practice the same denomination of the same religion will oftentimes, when they start getting into conversations about faith, very quickly realize that they have disagreements with each other. And so we have to ask, what part of our religion, what have we inherited from our religion or from our faith stories that helps us to live with more love? What have we inherited from these stories that help us live with more compassion? What have we inherited that allow us to be better people? Also, ask ourselves, what have we inherited that it's time to lay down? Where is it that we are where is it that we are using our religion to separate ourselves from other people, and where is it that we are using our religion to unite ourselves with other people? And so faith is not about belief in doctrines, it's about participation in the divine. And so don't throw away the vessel if it still brings you nourishment, but don't drink it and call it wine if it's water. All right, my beautiful friends, I will talk to you guys on Monday at 9 a.m. We will come back with another wake-up call. I want to say thank you guys so much for being here. Good morning again to Kelly, to Lane, to Ashley for being here. Just wanted to give you guys a quick announcement. So Pepper is currently hosting basically just a little meet and greet in the garden. Come on by, Campground Court number 13. And we'd be happy to host you over here for some coffee. It's an all-day thing. Come on over, enjoy her pretty garden, enjoy her company. She'd love to get some visitors. But until then, I love you. I care about you. I appreciate you. Thank you guys so much for attending the awesome Saturday service. Saturday is awesome, and we will return on Monday at 9 a.m. Until then, happy awesome Saturday, and aloha from paradise.